So let's talk a little bit. So today, first of all, as we stand here in solidarity with our D-Day veterans, I'm going to ask, I'm going to ask you all to take a quiet moment. And I'm going to ask you to think about those people, those men and the women that were all part of the D-Day invasion of France. Think about what their courage and what their duty brought to our lives. Those men, women, and other people drove fascism out of Europe and put their bodies in the ground to make it a real thing. Now consider, because this is important, their fear. Because without their fear, those days on D-Day, there would have been no courage. Those young men on the beach and those that flew in on airplanes, pushing forward into the unknown, were afraid. That fear lived in every officer and enlisted member who helped bring that mission and freedom to Europe. There was fear in the hearts of men, women, and those who could not safely say who they were, yet performed with exceptional valor. Black and brown service members who were not given the same opportunities to show their bravery, but who still served to build a future for those not accepted by the system. And in fear, the families and communities of the United States was far too often realized. That was the state of America on D-Day. I'm going to ask you to give a 5-second moment of silence for all those that have passed. I am sure those veterans that you thought of are honored that their name was in your memory. All right, y'all ready? Woo! I got it. I'm an amped up old retired E7. Let's go. All right. So those veterans, though, who took the first steps on that beach, did not know it then, but they were not just freeing Europe. They were helping to establish the American place in the world. The momentum they created carried the fight through Europe, through the hedgerows, through Caen, and during Patton's breakout in the lowlands. Our armies advanced, our veterans fought, grew, and came to understand that this mission would change them and their country forever. They learned, They learned that their lives mattered in a new way. And as they reached Germany to end the war, they returned home a force of veterans to be reckoned with. In every generation, it has been veterans that have been your allies. They have carried the fight for equality and for systems that serve those who wear the uniform and our allies as civilians. We owe our progress to the courage of veterans, such as John Stell, a World War I veteran who instituted and fought for the GI Bill. We can talk about a Chinese immigrant called Lieutenant Kurt Chuyin Lee, a Marine lieutenant. Listen, this dude ran across frozen mountains in the storm, and if you want to be called equal in the Marines, run across a mountain with a bunch of white dudes in Chinese territory, live, and save a bunch of other Marines. That guy brought that type of diversity into the Marine Corps. What about Ron Kovic? Born on the 4th of July. Watch it tonight. He was wounded in combat, a Marine sergeant who, when he was treated terribly by the VA in his country, he stood up and he spoke and he made fixes and changes real. Oh, we're not done. We're not done. We got some Cold War era people, right? We got Miriam Ben Shalom. She fought her way back into service after getting kicked out, discharged for being gay. What about oh man, her name's tough. Woo! Camer Meyer, who challenged discriminatory processes within the military, the most difficult system in the world, and succeeded to make life better for women. Together, they helped shape a military that strives to honor the dignity of all those who serve. And we will not let that work be undone. The fight for dignity within our veterans community has never been the work of one generation alone. It has been carried forward, voice by those willing to say that service should just not grant the right to fight, but the right to be seen. It is from these long lines of veterans who stormed beaches, crossed frozen mountains, fought in jungles, lived in the hot, crappy desert for years and years, and stood in courtrooms that we all now draw our strength. I was in the desert for a long time.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'm gonna just close out with this. My generation, our generation of veterans, rose from the embers of 9/11. Our country called out from across the sea to the other side of the sea, from World War II veterans, to Korea veterans, to Vietnam veterans, and a million unnamed conflicts in between. This generation, the OIF, OEF, GWOT generation, answered that call. Didn't stop there, because we saw what was wrong, and we built a military and a country shaped by our values and forged through our shared experiences. We built it on acceptance and the belief that post 9/11 world could be better than the one that preceded it. Many of those heroes fought not just for freedom abroad, but to fulfill the promise of citizenship at home. Many died young, never seeing that dream realized. Immigrants, dreamers, Black and brown Americans, LGBTQ plus service members, all yearning to be free and seen. Here we go. And this is where we're going to wrap it up. We, the ones who remain, owe it to their honor, their duty, their willingness to sacrifice for us. So today, we will speak for those who cannot speak. Yeah! On D-Day at Pointe du Hoc, Army Rangers had to scale sheer cliffs to take out an enemy position that was raining hell down on the D-Day veterans on the ground. Their commander, while these guys are pinned up against the wall, enfilade fire, everything is bad, people are getting hurt, and Lieutenant Colonel James Earl Rudder, they said, "What do we do, sir?" And he said, "Rangers lead the way." That was, you could clap for that. I'm going to be real, I don't clap for Rangers either, I get it. So, listen though, that spirit did not stay on those cliffs. It did not die. It carried forward through every generation of veterans who fought not only on the battlefield, but for the rights and the dignity of those who serve. And now it is our turn. Veterans know this fight is not finished. It is on us to stand for unity, for equality, and the promise made to the country to those who serve. The promise that none are left behind and all are treated with dignity. We're going to close here. We're going to do some callbacks. So, if you want to be like those guys on Pointe du Hoc, so when I say follow me, and this is really popular in the military, I'm going to ask you to say lead the way. So if you believe in a united army that preserves the Constitution, follow me.
Lead the way.
If you believe in dignity and the rights of humans, follow me.
Lead the way.
If you believe that we are a greater country than we represent right now, follow me.
Lead the way.
We serve the people. We serve the Constitution. And that is the truth. And that is why they fought on D-Day. Not to serve a king. Not to serve a tyrant. But defend a nation of free people. Governed by law and bound by the promise of equality. Thank you. I'm John Moses from Chelmsford.
Thank you, John Moses. I will follow him.